Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for clicking on 5 News Web News. It's Wednesday, May 22nd. I'm Brittany Hoke.
And I'm Matt Heckel, and here are some of the top stories we've been following today here on 5 News. Officials believe everyone is accounted for since the tornado swept through the Moore, Oklahoma area.
Yeah, the fire chief says that he is 98% sure that they've recovered all the victims and survivors from the rubble. At least 24 people died when the F5 tornado touched down just south of Oklahoma City. 9 of the victims were children, most of whom died at Plaza Towers Elementary School. Yesterday, President Barack Obama described the tornado as one of the most destructive storms in history. Obama also pledged the country's resources to the community of Moore, and as they now attempt to rebuild. One of the children who died in the storm was Janae Hornsby. Her aunt told CNN that she'll always be remembered for being a sweet little girl.
She is all of our uniqueness balled up into one, and I mean, she's the sweetest thing, the bossiest thing, the most fun, always trying to make us laugh, and she's a sweet baby.
And no additional bodies or survivors have been found since Monday night.
Well, an FBI agent shot and killed a suspect early this morning in Florida. Authorities tell CNN the agent encountered the suspect while conducting official duties in Orlando. They gave no further details. Now, local news agencies report the victim knew alleged Boston bomber Tamerlan Tsarnaev. A man claiming to be a friend of the suspect identified him as Ibrahim Todeshev and said FBI agents have been tracking him for days. The shooting reportedly took place as the agent was questioning that suspect.
And firefighters told 5 News that a fire that destroyed an abandoned home overnight looks to be suspicious. Crews were called to the home on Locust Street in Salem around 12:15 this morning. They say that the home was covered in flames by the time they got there. Nobody was living at the home, and luckily nobody was injured. Right now they don't know what caused that fire, but the state fire marshal's office will be called in later today to investigate. Meanwhile, there's still no word on what caused a Harrison County family's home to burn to the ground Sunday night, but the fire marshal's office is now calling that fire suspicious too. This happened Sunday around 6 o'clock off of Route 19 in Enterprise. Officials said that the fire may have started in the front of the house, although no one was home when the blaze started. Their dog was outside and he is now missing. Here's a picture of it. The family said that their dog was in the yard when they left, and when they came home, they couldn't find him. He's a 12-year-old St. Bernard, and anyone with information is asked to call the State Fire Marshal's office. That number is 800-233-FIRE.
Well, the driver of an ambulance that went into a ditch Monday night says he fell asleep at the wheel just before midnight. A JanCare ambulance was going west on Route 50 near Arnold's Creek when it ran off the road, hit the guardrail, then went into that ditch. The driver was taken to Ruby Memorial Hospital, but officials there wouldn't share his condition with us. Another EMT and patient were in the ambulance at the time, and they were taken to UHC with minor injuries. State police are still investigating.
And the suspect in a robbery at the Quiet Dell Sports Grill Monday night is still on the loose, but authorities aren't able to say if the suspect is connected to the other robbery cases that we've had in the past week. Sheriff's deputies say that an armed man walked into the restaurant around 9:30. He handed over a note to an employee demanding money and then took off. He had dark hair and glasses and was wearing a dark jacket, khaki shorts, and tennis shoes. Witnesses said that he was driving a silver 4-door passenger car with damage to the right rear bumper. If you have any information on this, you're asked to call the Sheriff's Department at 623-6655.
Well, about 6 months ago, some street lights in downtown Buchanan were replaced by stop signs, and now city officials want to make them a permanent addition to the city. That's because since they were put in, officials and police say they've helped traffic flow. The 4-way stop signs were put in at the intersection of Main Street and Florida Street, as well as Main Street and Spring Street. This was all done as a part of a traffic study done by the Department of Transportation. City officials are now going to ask the DOT to do a study on the intersection of Main Street and Kanawha Street. And let's take a quick look at what our newsroom's working on for tonight. For First at 5 and 5 News at 6. First up, we're going to have the very latest on the deadly tornado that ripped through part of Oklahoma over the weekend.
We're also going to tell you where things stand in the search for a suspect in some recent robberies in our area. And of course, Chief Meteorologist Ken Meehan will have a look at your first alert forecast coming up tonight on First at 5 and 5 News at 6.
And that's what's making news today. Be sure to tune in tonight for First at 5 and 5 News at 6. And until then,
have a great day, everybody.